Hello there, and welcome to the first edition of the new season of On the Whistle from the Cardiff City Press Room. You can just see the King watching over us, so let's hope he enjoys it. I'm delighted to be joined by Jeff Brown, who, of course, you all know from Look North and various other enterprises these days. Jeff, thanks for joining me.
No problem.
Sunderland started with 3 points. What did you make of the performance?
For a first off, under a new coach, you couldn't ask for more, really. I mean, you can never ask for more than to win your first game of the season. For him personally and for the club to get off to such a good start, probably, helped that they played a Cardiff team who looked like they are still getting to grips with the changes that they've had over the summer, and never really looked like scoring. Yeah. Suddenly had not much possession. The few chances that there were there, and they took two of them, and that was, you can ask for more.
Wasn't quite what we expected, was it? We heard a lot about sort of the high press and getting back to the possession football, and we were just speaking to Lebreeze there in his press conference. He pretty much admitted that wasn't the game he expected, because Cardiff, they didn't threaten, but they did dominate, didn't they? I don't know whether we should be positive that Sunderland ground it out and didn't create many chances, or a little bit concerned that they weren't really impose themselves. What do you think?
I think the one message that he'll take away, and all the fans will, great 3 points, but they still lack that threat in the box, and Mayenda isn't the answer, not at the minute. He said himself after the game, they've got lots of strikers, but just not experienced enough to be carrying, any of them to carry the team through a whole season. He had a fantastic chance, wonderfully carved out by Roberts and Job. Came in first time, keeper just managed to stick out the foot. Should really have finished it.
And it's not just the goals, is it? At second half, actually, Sunderland would pin back. And sometimes in football, you have to go long, don't you? You have to hit the big man, to use the old phrase. And some days don't really have that option.
And he's not strong enough. He's not strong enough on the ball. He's not strong enough to win it back. And you felt for him a little bit, because he didn't have an awful lot of support up there, because Sunderland were pinned back so much. But they were well organised. They never really looked like they were going to concede. And then, of course, Jack Clark does what he can do.
Does what he does. And that's a big positive, isn't it? You mentioned that, because Ballard is one of Sunderland's best players, and we were all a bit worried when he got that injury. Elise was good, Dennis Cirkin was excellent. In midfield, Brown was canny, wasn't he? That is a big positive. I mean, Sunderland at times haven't looked that well organised this calendar year. That was probably the big takeaway from today, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Because when it all boils down to it, there was a couple of saves in the first half for Anthony Patterson to make, but apart from that, and a half chance for Ramsey, really for all Cardiff's possession, Sunderland actually managed the game really well.
So, take a few questions from you. I've had Kevin asking about Dennis Cirkin, who says that when he's fit, he looks like one of the best left backs in the division. It's massive, isn't it? He doesn't look impacted by his injury at all, and actually going forward today, I mean, Clark is brilliant, but it's another dimension when he's got Cirkin overlapping him. That was a big problem last year, wasn't it? When Clark was pretty much doing it by himself, wasn't he? With players out of position behind him.
And the other thing about Cirkin was that he's obviously an attacking threat as well from set pieces. I mean, to score a goal from a set piece was a bit of a rarity.
Yeah, it was. That was a nice surprise.
So he set up the first one, had a good chance for a similar sort of range in the second half, headed it into the ground, rather couldn't decide whether to head it back or go for goal. But that will be a new dimension, which will be much needed.
And there'll be a competition when Ballard's back. But nice to see Elise and Cirkin in the team, because they're two good players that we didn't see enough of last year.
Yeah, I think Elise, when he first came in, he thought this kid has really got something, and then he just had so many injuries, in and out. It's been a tough time for him, but it was lovely to see him get game time and look comfortable.
Two big positives there. Okay, so Northern Meerkat, that's a great Twitter handle, says, will we get away with surrendering that much possession and territory to a team better than Cardiff? It's a fair point, isn't it? Because it was a really good 3 points today, lots of positives, but there's a lot of work on, and we can talk a little bit about. We've just been speaking to Lebreeze there, and he was under no illusions, was he? He was very much not quite what he expected from the game, and pleased with a lot of what he saw, the character side of things, but obviously gave us the impression he's got a lot of work to do as
well. I think any Sunderland fan who saw it would admit that if it had been a better, more clinical team than Cardiff, then it could have been a different result. But fair play to them, they had a tough sort of 10-15 minutes to start with, and then got the goal out of nothing, and then looked in control up until half time. Cardiff came again second half, but hey, in the end you can't argue. You only play who you play,
and they did look dangerous on the break. Clark, obviously, Roberts, I think, looks back to the Roberts we know, and although he was quiet in the first half, I mean, Joe in the second half was at the heart of a lot of good play, wasn't he? That was a brilliant little tackle he made to win the ball back. And
Yes,
you can see the talent he's got for someone so young, can't you?
And seems to have developed a lot more strength as well.
Yeah.
Looks a stronger player all around. But the move of the game where Roberts turned and created the opening for Job, and the first time ball across to my end was, if it had gone in, would have been
proper
perfect.
team goal.
Yeah.
Okay, last question from Ross says, how far can this team go if a striker joins? How optimistic are you generally, Jeff, for this season?
Yeah, if you know,
Clark stays a big one.
If Clark stays,
because that,
as well.
that was the difference between two teams today, really, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was a good move, but Clark, that individual quality, it's not this level, is it? I can't believe he's not in the Premier League.
No, I know. You just got to keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah,
but you know, with a proven striker, and they are hard to come by. But if that team had a proven striker and had an outlet and someone who's going to hold the ball up and keep, then they could be challenging for the playoffs. At the moment, you'd think it would be a bit of a long shot without someone who's going to guarantee you 15, 20 goals a season.
Well, there we go. On that mostly positive note, we'll leave it there. Jeff, thank you very much for your time. Thanks everyone for sending your comments in, and we will see you sometime next week.
Cheers.